How's it going, folks? So I've set myself a wee bit of a challenge to try and do a few more videos as a means of sharing some of the things I'm having conversations about with people, along with some of the things I'm reading about, some of the things I'm sort of seeing in my own practice, and hopefully it'll be of some use to people who listen to this. I imagine that not everything I talk about will be of use to absolutely every single person, but yeah, hopefully it is that. And I think one of the challenges in doing these sorts of videos, particularly when I'm coming at it from a sort of personal development angle, is that it might make me sound as though I've got all my proverbial poo together. I think you're only to go and speak to my wife to realise that's not the case at all. So I share these, I put these on the table over time solely for your own reflection and your own personal development. And I guess the things I am sharing will be the stuff that I too am in some way, shape or form trying to apply to myself. And the one that's catching my mind or playing about in my head just now is the role of self-compassion, which is a phrase that sort of, I think if you spoke to me maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, I would have cringed and curled up at the idea of it. I think to make it very black and white, and I don't think it is as black and white as this, but I think very crudely, I saw it as quite a traditionally feminine or certainly a softer way of looking at things, and instead I think I probably put myself in a camp that was more, you got to be cruel to be kind sort of thing. You got to be harsh on yourself and determined and push yourself forward in order to move forward with your goals. And I think there's obviously merit in pushing forward and trying to be determined and so on. But the idea of self-compassion really has been playing on my mind a lot of the time, and I've been quite influenced by the writings of, and here's someone for you to go on Google actually, there's a guy called Paul Gilbert who's wrote about the compassionate mind and how we have been born with this brain that's evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, and it does things and works in certain ways, and we feel certain things and think certain things that are pretty raj, but we never chose for that. And instead of rather than try to control it and push it and fight it and get rid of it in some way, shape or form, what if we can bring a sort of more of a compassionate mindset to that? And that's where he sort of starts from, I guess, an evolutionary perspective of compassion. And from there it really makes sense. And just today, and I'll put the link to this podcast in this post, I was listening to Christian Neff, who's a big researcher on compassion, and she made a cracking point. She says, why would you have an inner critic when you could try and work on and nurture and choose to have an ally, our compassionate self? And I think that makes so much sense, doesn't it? Why don't we try and bring a bit more compassion to ourselves and what it is we try and do? I think we're pretty good at it generally, at bringing compassion and being willing to listen to and try and resolve the suffering of other people. But when it comes to ourselves, it maybe goes out the window a little bit. So that raises some interesting questions. Where did that inner critic come from? Where did we get the idea that when we're harsh on ourselves, that's the only way we can achieve? What effect has that had on us? What effect has that had on our relationships with other people and with our own passion and love for the things that we do? Our sports, for example, or again, relationships with family members and so on. So yeah, there's some thoughts, I suppose, for you. Keen to hear your thoughts and experiences on it. Maybe you're a bit like me, this idea that compassion is soft and so on, and therefore you should be hard on yourself if you want to succeed. I don't know, I'm curious to hear what other people think, but certainly that got to be cruel to be kind, so to speak, way of thinking is loosening its grip upon me. Instead, the notion of letting things just unfold and being a wee bit kinder to myself has proved quite helpful over the past few months.